are we gonna cool down? I had to talk. I had to talk to somebody. So I had to end. I had to end because they needed to talk. And when people need to talk, talk to them. Talk to them. Talk to them. But we're cooling down. Cooling down. Five minutes is a good roundabout number. Some people prefer to do a shorter cool down and only do 3 minutes. Some people will do a longer cool down and do 10 minutes. But we're going to do about a 5 minute cool down. In your cool down, you get your heart rate back down, right? You get your temperature back down, right? Just like you don't just start abruptly, you shouldn't just end abruptly. Now you end abruptly if you need to, of course, but generally speaking, you shouldn't start abruptly and you should not end your workout abruptly unless you just necessarily have to. You sincerely, you get what I mean. You get what I mean. You start to walk a little bit slower. Then whatever pace you were at, you drop down to that a lower level until you get into a good, nice stride. Slow down to cool down. Okay. So you slow down, you gradually get your heart rate back down. You gradually get all of your vitals back to resting state, the normal state, okay? Again, get that heart rate back down by gradually slowing down, taking it down a notch, taking it down another notch if you need to. Just get into your normal pace, maybe even a little bit slower than your normal pace. Get your heart rate down. Get your blood pressure down. Get your core body temperature down. Allow your respirations to go back to normal, okay? So that's what we're doing. We're getting all four of those vitals back to normal, back to resting as we cool down. Sometimes I have to remind myself, cool down. You're in the cool down phase. Don't walk so fast. You might have to remind yourself when you're in the cool down phase, especially if you're doing something that's really high intensity, or if you're just kind of like you're working out and your mind is on working out and you're talking, especially if you're talking. Sometimes you have to remind yourself that this is the cool down phase. The cool down phase. So you cool everything back down, right? Not just your heart rate. You bring that down, you bring your temperature down, you bring your blood pressure down, you bring your respirations down. If you have a watch or a phone that can tell you, you also check your O2 saturation and see what your O2 saturation is. But try your best to bring things down, to start thinking of positive things, natural things. You hear those motorcycles? Even if you start to think of natural things and you're outside and you're cooling down, that noise won't bother you. Maybe initially, But you hopefully get to a point where if you are a person who really enjoys working out outside, that the things like cars and trucks and motorcycles and sirens, those things they're not nature, but they are a part of your habitat. So they're a part of nature. And you'll just kind of find yourself. You'll find yourself. You should be intentionally doing this, but you will find yourself focusing, focusing, focusing on those four things that I told you, bringing those vitals down, bringing those vitals down. And you can walk and chew gum at the same time. You can walk and chew gum at the same time. Even though I'm talking, like I was saying earlier, sometimes when you're talking, when you're walking and talking, you'll tend to forget, like I'm in the cool down phase because you're talking. And when you're talking, when you're walking and you're talking, you're kind of like on a roll. So you have to remember, bring it down. Bring it down. Hey, Stefan. How you doing, Stefan? I'm just cooling down. I was on earlier and I had to end the live real quick. Thank you, Stefan. I appreciate you. So I just came back on real quick I came to do like a 5-minute cool down. But I'm probably gonna do a 10-minute cool down because like I was just saying, sometimes when you start to cool down, especially if you're walking and talking or whatever you're doing, like you're on the treadmill or in your elliptical, your bike, your whatever you're doing, sometimes you'll start back going, your speed will pick back up. So my speed picked up a little bit during the 5-minute cool down. So I said, you know what, I'll just extend it to a 10-minute cool down. But thank you so much. I appreciate you. Hello, other people in the chat or stopping by or whatever you're doing. If you're a moderator, subscriber, or just someone passing by, thank you for stopping for a few seconds, a few minutes, or however long that you stop by. See, that's why, see, they left. People wonder why a lot of times people don't like harp on likes, like hit the thumbs up. Yeah, you want people to hit the thumbs up. But sometimes you're not even fussing, because I see people fussing about it. Like, they be fussing, they be mad. Or, it rubs them the wrong way if people aren't hitting the like. And I understand that. But sometimes, if you just simply say it, ask nicely, they won't do it or they'll leave. So that's why I don't really focus. I think some people think that YouTube is like they think it's your employer for real. Like they're so stuck on your likes or your views till it's like they're more concerned with, and they think it's cute that they're more concerned with your channel than you are. Like, y'all already know. People would just say, turn your monetization on. And I'm like, for what? I go to work. I ain't trying to, I come on here for fun, to do my shorts, to get some fitness done, share. I don't come on here to be begging for one. I don't come on here to this man was looking for, I don't know if he's hungry, but I don't have any cash. Now that's one thing about me. I don't mind feeding somebody. That's one thing my parents and grandparents and great-grandparents always told me. If somebody is hungry, give them some food, okay? I hope the riders leave the Mike and Sonny baby. Yeah, I didn't like that. I really didn't like that. I think they're trying to, you know what I think they're doing, Stefan? I think because, you know how like Kai came about? It was a result of cheating, but it was a little bit worse because Anthony was married, right? So Mike wasn't married, but he was in a relationship. He was living with somebody. I think they're trying to, because people in the comments keep saying, don't let another, you know what happened with Amber's baby. So they're like, don't let that happen to another baby. But then I'm thinking, how many babies are they going to have on here? You know, they have a couple of kids. They rarely show Dee's kid. But that's a loud little scooter. They rarely show Dee's kid, right? They show Phil's little girl. She's so cute. They show her, and they show Kai. Of course, they show Kai. You look, baby Kai got put in a big role, okay? Baby Kai got put in a big role. But I think what they're trying to do with Mike and Sonny's baby, that condition she has, a lot of women have that, right? So I think what they're trying to do is kind of make this a miracle baby. I think the baby's going to be okay. I don't know if they're going to address the issue of her having complications during the storyline, but I think they're going to. I mean, I couldn't see Shayla with a baby. I was about to say I can't see Sonny's character with a baby, but hey, I couldn't see Shayla's character with a baby. But I will tell you this about Shayla. She plays the mommy role. She just thinks she's supposed to be handed everything. But Shayla is a good mommy to Kai. I will say it now. That one night when they showed her, when she was just kind of out of it emotionally over Anthony, I was a little nervous. I was like, because you remember with Jay and Ernestine's little girl, right? When that iron fell on her. So I was hoping that Kai didn't get into something, because they went with that iron storyline when it came to Ava, Jay and Ernestine's little girl. And so when Shayla was first going through it, I was like, I hope they don't, write it so that something goes on with Kai, because Shayla was having it rough. She made all those problems, but she was like emotionally, mentally over Anthony, she was having it rough. So I was hoping that they left baby Kai alone, and he's okay. It's so funny now when he walks, all the people in the comments were saying, that boy been walking. They was like, that boy been walking. I think he just started like recently though. I don't think he's been walking that long. I think he started recently. And I like the fact that I think baby Kai is the same baby. It doesn't look like, how sometimes they'll grow him up a little bit. Now, probably in about, in a few months they may grow him up, or they may keep him at his age. But Sonny and Mike's baby, I think they wrote all that in there. Of course, they wrote it as a scare, but I'm just kind of tired of it, though. I'm like you, Stefan. I want them to leave him alone, Hey, Georgia girl. Georgia girl says, hi, host. Look, why am I saying? She said, peeping in. Hey, Georgia girl. I don't know. I don't think so, Stefan. But I think they're writing. Tell me, what do you think? Do you think Mike and Sonny's baby is going to be kind of like the miracle baby? Because women have that condition with their ovaries. A lot of women. I won't say most, because it's not most, but a lot of women. Many women have that polycystic, thing going on. So, and sometimes it's hard for them to get pregnant. And sometimes when they least expect it, they'll get pregnant. Thank you, Georgia girl. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Georgia girl, I need you to sing me a song, girl, so I can record it. Georgia girl, I need you to sing me a song so I can record it. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. She's been a member for a month, and I appreciate her for being here. I appreciate her for being here for well over a month. Okay? You're doing okay. You're bouncing back. I saw that earlier today. When you put up your put up your food video, and I was like, I'm glad that you're, I saw that you said you were bouncing back, so I'm glad to hear that. It's gonna take some time, but one day, Georgia girl, you might just get up and it's just like you don't even feel it. Hey, top to bottom. Top says, hey everyone. But Mike, Mike, Stefan, I think that I don't know which way they're gonna go. And honestly, I think Amber was the only miscarriage that I can remember recent. So I think Sonny and Mike will end up with like a miracle baby. Like I said, a lot of women have that condition she has, and it's hard for them to get pregnant. And then sometimes when they least expect it, they'll get pregnant. And sometimes they have complications when they had that situation going on. But a lot of them, they're just fine, and their babies are just fine. So I think, but it's a skit. So I think they're gonna try to write that baby like a miracle baby. Stefan says, hey there, Top. He says, I love Sonny and Mike relationship. I don't want them to have their baby. I like their relationship, but I always root for Melissa when it comes to Mike, because everybody was always against her at first. just like Georgia girl, top, we're ladies. When we went to school, there was always this one ghetto girl, right? One ghetto girl who, when you look back on it, when we got older, you realize she was really cool. Now, I'm not talking about the ones who were bullies, something like that, but I'm talking about it was just always this one who said what she said, didn't care who liked it. She was just a little, you kind of have to ask her to calm down a little bit, but she had a good heart. Y'all ever went to school with those, in high school or college, with somebody who was like hot-tempered, but had a good heart? I'm not even talking about like bougie. I'm talking about just like not bougie, not wanting to think they're all that and aren't. But I'm talking about just ghetto, just hood. But they don't bother anybody unless somebody bothers them. I see Melissa like that. Yeah, Georgia girl said she has. Yeah. You like Melissa? I do too. At first, because I guess she was into it with Ernestine. Well, at first, it wasn't that I didn't like her. We just didn't know her. Remember when they first introduced her? We didn't know her. And a lot of people did start to like her then because Ernestine was cutting up as a wife. And so Melissa was checking her a lot. So a lot of people liked her. I honestly like Sonny and Mike better, I think, as co-parents, but I'm wondering, all this stuff that keeps coming up with him and Melissa, I think Melissa is going to find out about Dom, because Dom is losing it. And that's going to be the last straw, because this girl even suggested to go counseling. See, Melissa's that type of girl, like I was saying, that home girl, that ghetto girl, you wouldn't have thought she would have said something like counseling. So we all know that ghetto person, even a dude. And then but they're good people. They're good people. Oh, Georgia girl said something. Country Wayne. Do you watch the Country Wayne skits on Georgia girl? Georgia girl, it's like you have to try to find other stuff to watch on here to preoccupy your time. Like, I like to watch skits, and I need to start. I've been telling Stefan I need to watch the Nigerian movies and things like that on YouTube, because I'm to the point where I only go to like maybe 4 chats. I go to Georgia girl's chat, Locas, and it's 2 other chats that I go to. And I won't say them, because most of the people know that I go to Georgia girl's chat. They know I go to Locas chat. I won't say the other 2, because as soon as you say somebody's channel, here they come following you. You have another group of people you really engage with, and it's like none of the people that you see all the time. As soon as they know where you are, here they come. like here they come. So I love going to Georgia girl's chat, because she's always, talking about wellness, or always touching on topics and things that happen, breaking news, her local news, national news, world, just, important topics, things that make you say, or things that make you wonder, what were they thinking? So when things happen in the community, almost all channels talk about big things that happen, and I talk about things sometimes. Y'all remember when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock? Like, I remember we had a conversation about that. So I will talk about some stuff like that sometimes. And whenever we have some type of awareness, we're going to talk about that. But Georgia girl makes that like her mission to do that. So sometimes you can go over in Georgia girl's chat and hear about something going on that you may not have heard about. So that's why I like going over there. And, when you want to see a little drama, I go over to Loca's chat. But Loca is, when I say drama, she's doing the commentary on other drama. And she brings it. And she brings it dramatic. She brings it funny. So you have a good time over there. You have a good time. Hello, is that sushi? Is that sushi? Is that sushi? So I like a little drama, but I don't like too much drama, because, sometimes people be funny and they be finicky. I'm a finicky person. Like, I don't like drama when I know somebody's doing something underhandedly and sneaky, but they have a lot of people fooled. Like, they don't, do what you're saying. They're like, oh no, not her. Oh yeah, her. Or not him. Yeah, yeah, him. Why do you think they run around and make everybody think that they're so innocent? Because they have that 1 or 2 people they want to be sneaky with. So when they do, it's kind of like your kids. right? Some kids in school, and some of us are parents to some of those kids, because somebody's their parent, right? In school, when the teacher is looking, when the janitor is looking, when the officer is looking, when the principal is looking, they're on their best behavior. As soon as they think somebody's not looking, they set you up, or they do something, or they pick and poke with somebody. And then when that person tells on them, the teacher's like, not her. Are you sure she didn't do that? Or what did you do to her? That's the first thing they say. And you be like, nah, that little helper sneaking. She's sneaking. I'm about to roast. Let me tell you, Jorge. Your name is Jorge. Or it might be Jorge, but I'm going to say Jorge. Listen, Jorge. These called hokers, baby. Ain't nothing prison like about hokers. They probably cost more than your whole outfit. Okay? And so when you walk like a person like me, that's what you wear. Now you go on and you get them old dusty Walmart brand low budget champions, back of the basement champions that they put out here for the folks at Walmart, and go you get you some of them old flooded out, steel-toed champions, and you go somewhere, you try to present them like they some expensive shoes, because we know that's what you wear. You wear those old low-budget shoes. Georgia. Now, Jorge, you see that? What happened? See that? You couldn't come over here and troll good. Y'all know I let the good trolls survive over here. If you trolling and you good, you can't be over here talking about say my name 50,000 times. Now, if you say my name one time, you know what? I'll give you that, because you just gave me a view. But if you say my name again and again, you got to go. If you come over here like Jorge, I guess that's his name. He mad because him can't afford no shoes. Georgia girl said them old buddies. Okay. Hey, Georgia girl, you remember when we was little and nobody wanted to wear buddies? But then when we got in high school, the girls anyway, you know, the guys, they always wanted their Nikes. They wanted their name brand. But the girls, we was like, man, forget that. We get these buddies and we can get something else cute. That'll be more money on your clothes. Yep. We stayed wearing buddies. Cause listen, they was cute. You could get. Let me tell y'all something. I don't know if y'all. Well, it was Kmart. Kmart would have buddies. Walmart would have buddies. These other little stores like Bargain Town and all these little. You go to the thrift store, and at first, I'd say probably like in about the fifth, sixth grade, maybe higher up elementary school, 4th, 5th into junior high, middle school, you would be a little ashamed of wearing buddies. But then about the 7th grade, but definitely around about the 9th grade, buddies was the ish, okay? You wore those buddies because you could get you about 4 or 5 pair with different colors, matching all your outfits. And sometimes at Kmart, I remember those buddies would be like $2. You were joking, Jorge. Because I don't know you. I ain't on YouTube trying to make no money. See, that's what y'all get. That's what Jorge, you can't joke with people you don't know. Do you just go to the bar? Do you just go to the bar and tell the cowboy he has the ugliest hat on in the bar? Do you do that? Do you just go to the club and you tell the homie in the club his Jordans look like something Michael threw out 10 years ago? Do you do that? Stefan says, I used to love Kmart, but they closed the store around me. I think they closed all of them. I think at one point Sears bought them out. And then they closed. And then eventually Sears closed. Is Sears open? Are there any Sears locations that are open? Georgia Sears says, now troll, I gave you a chance to breathe. Now, I know that's right, Georgia girl. And see, and I'm glad he said that. Because I had another little knucklehead on my thing talking about, you don't have this girl. I'm not on here struggling, on here trying to make no money. You know how long it was before I turned monetization on? And how many times people had to ask me, turned it on, turned it off. Girl, I'm not on here. Now, let me tell you something. Anything you get is a blessing, okay? And sometimes monetization isn't about money for everybody. It's just like an accomplishment. If you're on social media and you gather, they have the requirements. And if you gather enough of the requirements, that's your choice to get monetized. But when you got grown women and men in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s trying to tell somebody, you ain't even got no people in your... I be like, girl, you better go get a job. You see what happened with TikTok, didn't you? You over here talking like a teenager. You're talking like a teenager. If you depending on, and if that gives you your if having a lot of people in your chat validates you, you got some problems, grandma. You got some problems. You too old for that. That's something that your kids, heck, your grandkids should be worried about, especially if you're of a certain age. But you're worried about somebody else's and don't know what YouTube gonna do with yours. That junk be so funny when people that don't know you or barely see you, but then they'll send out for somebody and they come and try to talk trash. Girl, you honestly sad, pitiful, and pathetic that's the biggest thing that you got on your mind when you come to somebody else's channel. And Jorge just made me thought about it again. I'm like, making money? Listen, the money I made on here, I'll give it to somebody, okay? The money I make on here, I'll give it to somebody. And yet it'll still be what? A blessing. So I'm not saying that it's not a blessing, it's a platform. We have to be grateful to the platform, no matter what platform you're on. If they allow you the ability to make some money, whether it's extra money, whether it's an income, because we do know that there are some big YouTubers who have bought mansions with the money that they make on YouTube, right? So it's a great thing that they give you that opportunity. But if you're sitting around here, just because you got a chat full of people and you got under like 100,000 subscribers and you talking trash, that shows that you sad, pitiful, and pathetic. Get up and go work. Or stop depending on your spouse. Quit making your spouse go out there and work while you out here thinking you doing something because you got some views. You better, and then what are you doing with your money? Are you investing it? What are you doing? Or you sitting up at home all day on this app scrolling. So that's why I always say thank you to my subscribers. Thank you to my moderators. A lot of them are content creators. Thank you to content creators. Thank you to anybody who comes through here. If you're a troll, as long as you're a good troll, thank you for the view. But am I about to act like this is the be all, And I also thank YouTube. They don't have to give it to you. So it's not YouTube, it's the people who come through who really think they like paying your mortgage, your car note, helping your kids in school. Exactly. It's an accomplishment, George Girl. It's an accomplishment. What people do for them, come on, it's their business. They be so worried about, I'm like, if that's your only argument, I'm really wasting my time. But if I got time, I'll entertain you then. You know what I'm saying? If I got time that day, I'll entertain it. Because it's really funny to me. I keep talking to them, and then I go look, I'm like, okay, 1,000, 5,000, 6,000 subscribers. Maybe you have 100 people in your chat. Baby, you ain't banking you ain't paying no mortgage nowhere. And you worried about somebody else's channel? That's why I'm like, I don't understand. That's why it makes me mad, and I'm gonna speak. If something bothers me, like they say, I always tell y'all, don't let bother people bother you. But sometimes people can do some of the most grimiest things that it bothers you. Or some people would say it really doesn't bother them, like have them up at night, but it ticks them off. So if you say some of the dumbest, you can say some of the most ignorant things to me, that'll piss me off. And I will address it. And then I might end up starting to bother you. Because when people talk foolishly, especially like again at the ripe old age of over 35, over 40 years old, and you worried about somebody else's channel, especially when you insinuating yourself in somebody else's business because you don't know the history of your sneaky link that sent you and her other little buddy. See, but that happens a lot, and that's why people on here get into it. And that's why people get to the point where they go to the extreme. Like the situations that have happened lately with YouTube content creators. They go to the extreme. Worried about somebody else's numbers, worried about what somebody else is doing, And this stuff ain't enough. It's enough to, like Georgia Girl says, it helps out. And you can do certain things with it, and you're grateful for it. I always say, I appreciate the platform. I appreciate you too. But for these people who really think that that's your money in the bank, they sad, pitiful, and pathetic. They are sad, pitiful, and pathetic. Okay, Georgia Girl says she doesn't think there are any more Sears or Kmart's in Georgia. I don't think so, Georgia Girl. I think at first it was Kmart that just, I think they got bought up by Sears. And then after a while, a little bit after, Sears went out of business. And I'm like, geez. So yeah, I mean, it's getting monetized is an accomplishment. And if you're monetized, you ain't making that much more money if you got 100 people in your chat than the person who has 5 people in the chat. Because you ain't getting but about 55% of it. What is it? You get 70% off of super chats and super stickers and stuff like that. So I think you get 70% of that. Heck, I don't know. You might not even get that. See, that's just how unbothered I am about that. But to see somebody who is so focused on that they think that's a flex, that's sad, pitiful, and pathetic. I hate going to Walmart. I wish Kmart would come back too, Stefan. Like, I would go to Kmart, y'all, instead of Walmart. Like now, like, do y'all like Target? Georgia Girl says, girl, you better say it. Girl, Georgia Girl, yeah, I can remember, when, especially like, that's one thing I always loved about your channel. You was always like helping people. Like, and you see people complain. I see people be like, you don't be in my comment section, or you don't support. Now, I do feel a certain type of way if I'm always supporting somebody and they never support me. I can't really say who can support who the most, because that person may not be feeling good, or I may be working a lot. I might pick up hours, especially around the holidays. So if you go live 5 times a week, I might catch you 1 or 2. One week I might not catch you, and you may have been, and I may have gone live too. So I'm going live too, and I'm working extra, and you may be in all 3 of my lives. Well, I'm not the person who'll say, oh, well, she was in 3 of mine, and I was only in 1 of hers. Let me go make sure I do. I'm going to make sure I'm consistent, though. She's going to see me on a regular basis. And then when the holidays, let up, or when I get extra time, it don't have to be the holidays, she's going to see me more. So I saw somebody complaining in the chat. I forgot who blocked them. Well, I'm not going to say who blocked them, because you're never supposed to say that, because these people be crazy. But I'm like, sometimes you can't go to somebody's chat just as much as they come to yours. Like, if a person doesn't work, they're at home a lot, so they probably go to a lot of chats. But what if they're not feeling good? What if they're not feeling good? Or what if they got like their grandkids or something? Their kids. What they got them with them? So, you just can't always do that. But what I do, again, I do expect, especially if I'm seeing them somewhere else here or there, because you can't tell people what to do. So when you see that, all you can do is just, if you feel like they're not into you, you just don't watch them, But some people will come out and say it. So what I started doing with that kind of stuff, because what can you do? They're grown. If you see somebody's not supporting you, they supporting you like 10% and you support them 50%, then you cut back on your support. Cut back on your support. Go support the people more who do support you. And it doesn't always have to be a bad thing. Because like I said, you never know. What if they're not feeling good? What if they're busy because they're taking care of their grandkids or their kids or their nieces and nephews? Or just what if they just, whatever it is. Sometimes people give, like Stefan, they give the whole app a break. So you don't see them for a while. So now if I'm coming to your thing and I come to your channel, you go live 5 days a week, and I went to 3 or 4 of them, and I ain't seen you all month. Now that's a different story. But you just fall back. And if I'm in the membership, I'll keep the membership unless I just can't afford it. Some people get mad at you when you leave the membership. It's hard times, y'all. I saw somebody the other day asking for money, like, who never gets on here and asks for money. I don't know if they really needed the money or not. Sometimes people just do something on a whim just to see what happens, see if it can work. Maybe they were just trying to see if people will give. I don't know. And maybe they needed the money. But I do know that a lot of people do need money. So I don't get on here and beg for money. And I don't get on here and dry beg. Like people, they'll be in the line. This is gonna be a lot. That's dry begging. They see you in the grocery store. If people want to bless you, they're gonna give you some money. Now, if you're in the line and you say, "I'm short, can one of y'all help me?" Because who hasn't been there? I think we've all been in a situation like you may have it, but you forgot your wallet, or you rented a car and it's not enough, and the person behind you will pay it forward. They'll be like, "How much you need?" You know, most of us have been in that situation. But I'm talking about there are people who get on here and they're starting to do this every day. Talk about what they need. Talk about what they need. Talk about what they need. But guess what? We all need a little bit of extra. If you're not a millionaire, if you're not filthy rich, or if you're not wealthy, hell, even millionaires need. Because if they don't manage their money right, you know how quickly you can not be a millionaire anymore? So that's why I'm always thankful for the people that support me, but I do not get on here and dry beg, because a lot of times, I know y'all have seen those specials where a person will be uptown New York begging, right? And then they'll follow them. I think it was 2020 who did that special. They will follow them because somebody else got caught on to what they were doing. And so they follow them. And then at night, they're in a sports car, the best shoes, the best clothes, and they're partying. And they may even have a really good job. But when they're on their lunch break or when they're on their off day, they'll go and stand out somewhere uptown New York and beg. Do y'all know people do that all over the country for real? Georgia Girl says, I always tell people to take care of you first. Right, because I'm not well, I have to take care. Exactly, Georgia Girl, exactly. And I mean, some people really take stuff to heart. They watch other people's pockets. Like I saw two people get into it because content creator gave somebody a gift. It wasn't even a birthday gift. They just gave them a gift for something. I think the other person may have gotten monetized. So they just gave them a gift or whatever. It may have been, they cash apped it to them though. Because even though they were monetized, they wanted them to get all of it. So they cash apped it to them. You know, somebody else in that chat made a slick remark. She didn't give me whatever. I was like, oh. And you know, y'all, when we be online, it's almost like when you in a room. You ever been in a room and people get into it and you have that awkward silence and you be like, uh-oh, it's about to go down. After the last statement that's made, you be like, it's about to go down. So it was almost like that, but it was online. And she was like, she gave so-and-so something, gave so-and-so something to give me. And I'm like, now, if you feel that way, if you got a way to communicate that to them offline, do that offline. You did it right there in the chat. And then a lot of content creators going to do just what? They're not your parents, but they going to go by their rule that your parents go. You cut up in the chat, you get did up in the chat. Okay? Okay. And she went in like, I didn't have the money when you got monetized. And that's as simple. Y'all, that's the simple. It can be as simple as that. When that person got monetized, she probably didn't have the money to send her something. Stefan says, yeah, facts. Georgia says, you're right. Stefan says, yeah, jealous is real on YouTube. People love count other people's pockets. That's why I'm like, girl, you asking me about something. Okay, if you asking me about views, you ask me about subscribers. What do you want my subscribers? Because you talking about it. That's the first thing you address. You over here in somebody else's business. Do you want my subscribers? What is it? What is it? You can even go buy them. I don't buy them. They come every day. I lose some every day. But what business is it of yours? That just let me know how YouTube starved you are. That at that big old age of 40-something years old, that's your flex? Or that's your shot you take? That's a shot you throw at somebody. Like, you sad, pitiful, and pathetic. And it was like almost a waste of time. But you know how you keep on going back and forth with somebody just to see how unintelligent they are? Or how much they don't know what they're talking about? Or you figure out, oh, that's the send out. And you start looking at other stuff. You say, oh, that's who sent them out. And that's who sent them out. So you just start doing it. You be like, girl, you got a PhD, but how did you get it? Because you definitely can't have an associate's or a bachelor's or a master's. You cannot. But you got that player hater degree. Because whenever you talk about something to somebody else, no matter how much you're trying to downsize it, you still sitting there, you bite your nails like, how they do that? How they do that? How they do that? So I always say, I try, don't let people bother y'all, because they really will. But what I do now, because I tell y'all all the time, my patients are short. So what I do now is I just be petty. I be a little silly, just like they silly. I be a little petty. And sometimes it ain't good to get on that level, but sometimes it's good to control you. That's a good way of controlling yourself. But when you just get tired, you will try to just let them know. Now you just doing too much. Okay, enough is enough. You just doing too much. Enough is enough. But they be mad. They be getting mad. Georgia Girl says, I want us all to win. But these people, yeah, they are something serious on these YouTube streets. And there's some people that I've had words with, but I still like them. We probably don't even like communicate with each other. But you know how like with your sisters, siblings, with your cousins, when y'all have words, y'all get into it. Well, eventually, y'all start back talking. Even your friends, even if y'all get into a fight. With your siblings, you live right there in the house with them. And even if it's your half siblings and you don't live together, if it's family functions or y'all around each other, eventually y'all gonna talk. Grandma, somebody gonna make y'all talk. Something's gonna make you talk, right? Or you just come to your senses as adults and talk. You do that even as teenagers, as kids. Well, on the app, we don't have to talk to anybody because we don't really know these people. But because we are in some chats, I'm never going to disrespect somebody's chat. Now, somebody say something to me real ugly in the chat, then I'm going to have to address it, but I'm not going to keep going back and forth, because that lets me know that if they keep going back and forth or they say something else, they want to have the last word. So I'm like, have it. I learned a long time ago that sometimes it's good to let them have the last word because you know that that's what they wanted. So you allow them to have that. And when you tell them, I'm going to let you have it, that makes them even better. That makes them even matter. When you say, oh, so the last word, that's what you wanted. Oh, girl, here, have it. Here, have it. Here's the floor. Have it. There you go right there. You can have it. Because no matter who has the last word, you still stand on what you stand on, right? You still stand on what you stand on. So I want everybody to win. Yes, George Girl. And it's almost like, it's like I used to think that way, and I still do think that way, but I know that other people don't. Because people will latch onto you because they think that that's how she's winning. And then it starts to be like, hold up now. Can I be me? Can I be me, or do you want to be me? Like your mom, your dad will tell you, look, it's gonna be this or it's gonna be that. You can't be me, but I really don't appreciate. I can't break wind unless you want to know the flavor, the odor. So you can go and see if you can eat the same thing and pass that same wind. Like, nah, you want to go buy the type of wind I'm passing? Nah, You know, that starts, there's a thin line between love and hate. And there's a thin line between being a compliment, flattery, and being obsessive. There are a lot of things that I've seen people do that I like to do, and I will do it. I give them a shout out for it. Or even if I don't, even some things is you don't even have to. But you see it, but I'm not gonna, oh, they did this week. Let me run over here. Okay, I want to do this. I don't like them, but they got this. Oh, let me run over here and get this. They got that. It's almost like when you're at home and we say trying to compete where you don't compare, trying to buy a 5-bedroom home because your neighbor has a 5-bedroom home. You better stay in that 3-bedroom home and save more money. You don't know what it's taking. Your neighbors may be millionaires, for all you know. Or you may not know the struggle that they had to get the house. Somebody may have bought it for them. You never know. You never know. Some people will go broke trying to say, see, I can do it too. I can do it too. When really they only can do it to a certain degree. George Girl said, oh. Right, Georgia Girl. I am because what most people know about me is that I don't mess with nobody. And if I do, it's because I had a reason to, because they mess with me. Now, there are some times when you like have a miscommunication or a misunderstanding because we typing, y'all. Sometimes we're typing, right? We typing. So sometimes you do have a miscommunication. You have a misunderstanding. But when that happens with me sometimes, especially if I know it upset a person, I'm not good about it. I don't do it all the time, especially if it's somebody who just been kind of poking and poking for a while, and I just kind of been like watching it. But if it's somebody and it's like we never had a problem, and then we kind of have a back and forth one day, now I will save those lives. Like I leave those chats open, and I screenshot the conversation, because sometimes, especially when I'm walking and talking, I only catch something and I may misinterpret it, or I may not have caught the statement before or after, and I'm thinking they getting smart. So I'm human. So I'm gonna say if I was right or wrong. You know? So it's only been one time where that happened. But other times it just be people kind of, they just kind of want you to be okay with the stuff that they do. But then you hear them complain about the same thing. Or they want you to be okay with somebody kind of poking you and prodding you. They want you to be okay with it because it's happened to them before. So in their mind, they're like, who are you? It's like they'll go and support the person who's poking and prodding you, even though they don't have anything to do with it. In their mind, it's like, well, it happened to me before. That's just YouTube. Well, if anything has happened to me before, usually I'll try to, if I see that they misunderstanding each other, they are misunderstanding each other, I'll say so in the chat. In the chat, not in the email. I'll say so in the chat, because that's where the misunderstanding is happening, in the chat. Or even if it's a different live, I'll be like, well, so-and-so said this, and I think you didn't hear, or you didn't see the first comment, or you didn't see the second comment. Because people on here, we don't have to live with each other. We don't have to eat with each other. We don't have to sleep with each other. We don't have to do anything with each other. But what they don't fail to do, they going to always watch your ass. I'm telling you. I'm sorry, YouTube, this channel is not made for kids, okay? They going to watch your ass no matter how much they say they can't stand you, or you pick with them, or you do what, they're going to watch your ass. And then they're going to go and do what you do. Like, I'm talking about the obvious stuff. Now, I ain't going to lie. I will watch somebody, or, people love to tell you stuff too. But I ain't one of the ones who holler, somebody told me. No, if I watched it, I watched it. But sometimes I watch people just to see. Because I'm like this. If you don't support me, I'm not going to give you all that. I'm going to give you a view just by checking in. But when you know somebody's kind of just on you, and it's like, this girl seems like she a little obsessed, then yeah, you go and check in. And I be damned, they fail the test every time. And when I say fail the test, they doing just what you think they're doing. Because that's why you stop dealing with them. You see what I'm saying? That's why you stop dealing with them, because they was doing it. So every time you go, hell yeah, they failed the test because they were doing it. So what the bottom line is, what I'm telling y'all, always pay attention to your discernment. Don't give a damn who don't like it. Don't give a damn who mad about it. Don't give a damn who it's about. They may be, oh, that's a good person. That's this person. Yeah, you just haven't had an issue with them yet. You haven't had an issue with them yet. And you haven't seen anybody else have an issue with them yet. Because sometimes some people get locked in on you for a particular reason. You may remind them of the girl that whooped them in high school. You may remind them of the girl that took their boyfriend that they loved the most. You may remind them of the woman that's with their husband. You may remind them of, and this guys can be that way too. I bet you Stephon can tell you guys can be that way too. You may be the person who, you went to school, you got your education, you know what you're talking about when you're talking, and they just want to be a guru, or they want to be, or whatever. And it's not saying that you're a guru, but you went and you studied. You know the theory behind what you're doing, what you're saying. But they want to. So they dislike you, and they just continue to try to reword what you say or do the things that you do. So I always have to remind myself, and I have a cousin on here and a couple of other friends on here that they just be watching, they be waiting, they be watching, and they be like, I bet you if you ask them to pull this out, they can't. So you got to rest on that. A lot of these people on here doing anything they can to make a buck. They're doing anything they can to make a buck, to make $1. Even though they only gonna get 55%, even though they only gonna get 70%, they willing to put a knife in your back, your side, your front, your bottom, your top. They don't care, because after all, remember, they don't really know you. Georgia Girl says, still here listening, great conversation. Thank you, Georgia Girl. I appreciate you. Stephon says, I am burned out. I only support a few people now because I love to support my people, but negative energy is getting to me, so I take more breaks and only pop up. You sure do, and I respect that so much. It's like, that's why I had to learn to just go do some other stuff. Go do some other stuff. Georgia Girl says, exactly. Like, go do some other stuff. Whatever they trying to do that's like you, you know they don't have this. You know they don't have that. The things that you work, and so that's what be ticking me off with it. I'm like, I worked for this. I really could put out a lot more knowledge than I do. But you know how they say copyright 107. And then there are people, you never know your message. You might have 2 people in your chat, but by the time next week comes, 200 people may have heard your message. So you don't want to put out a message to vulnerable people. And you can put out disclaimers, especially when you ain't got no license to back it up all day long. But those of us who do have licenses, like I always say, registrations and certifications, when we put out disclaimers, we mean that from the heart, because we're telling you something based on the knowledge that we have. Because we know that if you do some of the things that we tell you, we can't stop you, but the disclaimer has merit. It has root. It's rooted in my education. It's rooted in my degree. It's rooted in that national exam that I had to take to pass to be able to teach or do certain things, or to practice certain things, or to work certain places. These people over here holler about disclaimer, and they can go get a job anywhere where it's not required. But I get jobs at certain places. So it do be real funny when people come on here talking about a view, and a subscriber, and the 70% or the 55% they get from this app. It be so funny. And again, YouTube, if they don't tell you, that's one thing I always do. I'm grateful for that, because that 70%, that 55% that I get, I do take it and do certain things. You can save it. You can save it for your vacation. You can give it to your kids. You can splurge. If you get your nails done, you can get your nails and toes and nails done, get your hair. You can do a lot of things with it. But that is not enough. That should not be enough to make any grown woman or man think that they flexing because they talking about a subscriber and a view. If you meet that threshold, you getting $70. And then you gotta let them know at tax time. Okay? So if you get that threshold, what? You get $1,000. What's that? You getting $700. And then you still gotta meet them at tax time. You know how much it takes to live every week now in this country? And you think you flexing or you throwing good shots when you talk about somebody's subscribers or they traffic. People who want traffic that bad stay on here all day. I come on here almost every day, and I used to do 2 hours for sure, but I do like an hour, because I started thinking I got other things I can do. I got other places, other platforms, or other channels that I can get monetized, where I don't see any of these people over here. And when I'm over there on those channels, when I get tired of dealing with people over there, I come over here. But they just so focused on your pockets that don't benefit them. That's what we're gonna call. We're gonna make a channel. Pockets that don't pockets that don't benefit other people. Yes. Oh yes, Georgia Girl. Yes. So that's what I'm saying. Like, even if you just get $100 that month, you're not getting 100. They're gonna get their percent, and then you got you got your taxes. Unless you live in a tax-free. Well, you got federal. Your state may not have taxes, but you got your taxes. You got your taxes. So if you're not somebody with $1 million or more, girl, sit down and be quiet. Quit worrying about everybody else. They more worried about your stuff than you are. You going to work every day. And in a lot of cases, some people retired and just sitting there getting their check. And they flexing, talking about, why ain't nobody in the chat? Why she got so many subscribers? Going all up and through your stuff. Annie Granny, go sit down. Go be quiet. See, people be peopling. People be peopling. People be peopling. That's the best way to look at it. People be peopling. So whatever you do, however, like when you support, if you feel like somebody hadn't been, this is like Georgia Girl, she got an email. I think I'll email her if I ain't seen her in a while. And I see her a lot of places. Some people support so many people, you can't see them all the time. So just appreciate the support you got. But like I said, I do have issue when I support somebody a lot and I see them supporting everybody else and they give me like crumbs. When I'm talking about crumbs, I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about they might come through and say, hey, keep it moving. If they do that. Or they'll say, well, I was in the bushes. Well, I don't know if I went live 5 times and you was in the bushes one of them. You could have said, hey, because you wasn't in the bushes over there on the mother folk channels. Like, you could have at least just said hi. So that's what I do a lot of times. And just keep down confusion, too. Sometimes I just say hi. Like I said, I enjoy engaging in, like, 4 chats. And Georgia Girl is one of them. And I always ask you guys to go support my moderators because my moderators have positive content. The moderators that I have over here, I don't have a lot of moderators because I don't need a lot of moderators. But the moderators I have, they have positive content. So I will ask you to go and support them. Selling your soul for YouTube checks is crazy work. Exactly, Stefan. Exactly. And that's what it is. If that's your first line of defense, when you start, especially when you start an argument, if that's your first line of defense, you already lost. You already lost. You beat yourself. You defeated yourself. The person you arguing with didn't even have to, if they didn't want to, they didn't have to say another word. I watch in bushes sometimes because it is safe sometimes. Oh, Stefan, yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth. I'm telling you, that's why sometimes you can't even say hi to somebody. Sometimes you can't even say hi in a certain chat. All you doing is saying hi. But I refuse to have somebody, like, if you want to just say hello, like you're grown. I don't have that issue, because Stefan, what it is, a lot of times people stay, like you said, because it's safer there. Because if you say something, even if you just say hello, somebody's going to see you who's watching too, because that they see you, so that means they're watching, and then they're going to go stir some mess. And all you did was say hey to the host, to the mods, to the chat, and maybe a few kind words, and you just kept stepping, and you went back to the bushes. But somebody else who's upset with the content creator gonna have something to say about it. Like, when did people start thinking that they control other grown people? And a lot of times they can't even control the grown people that they see every day, that they send to school. Okay? A lot of them, their kids talk to them with such disrespect. But a lot of times that's why they act like that when they come onto an app. Because nobody's listening at home, or nobody's listening at work, at school, at church. Or they're mad at somebody at home, at work, at school, or church. So they come on to an app, and then they take their frustrations out on other people. Knowing that most of 85 to 90% of the times they're never going to talk to that person face to face. So after a while, it's almost like you just get your blood pressure up for nothing. But there are certain things, like I said, if I see somebody trying to be a carbon copy of me, used to be in my chat, like, girl, you freaking delusional? Like, what's wrong with you? Get your life, get you something. I ain't never seen nobody want to do that, like, at that age. I've always seen we grow out of that. I grew up out of trying to be like, that's just like when you tell your kids about celebrities. Yeah, it's nice to want to have those accomplishments, but make sure that you're doing everything in life that you're supposed to do till your kids can have role models that aren't you. But make sure that the things that you do in life, make your kids want you to be their main role model. Want you to be the one they look to first. So then you get mad because somebody call you out. Oh, well, stop doing what you're doing. Because it's obvious. I don't care how nice they present to somebody else. Stop doing the things that you don't want something addressed, don't do it. Especially when it's something wrong. You got the right to do whatever and anything that you want to do. But when you don't, quote unquote, like this person, why are you trying to replicate? Why are you trying to duplicate? Why are you trying to imitate? It can be flattery, but then it can be weird. Weird. But I'm about to get out of here too, Stefan, because it's been another hour. And you remember I said that was my cool down. Thank you for coming in here, you and Georgia girl. And Jorge had to get gone. He said, Georgia girl, what is Georgia girl still in here? Georgia girl said he has to go. Okay? And I appreciate that, Georgia girl. That's what mods are for. We gotta watch out and look out for each other. And not just mods, you know, our good people, faithful people like Stefan. They look out for the content creators. Y'all look out for each other in the chat, and that's a good thing. And Jorge should have realized, like, I don't know you. You don't come over here. Stefan says, you're welcome always. Good night, y'all. I'm sleepy. Enjoyed the conversation. Thank you, Stefan. I'm getting sleepy, too. We didn't know him. He doesn't come over here. So if you're going to joke with somebody, you got to make sure you know who you're joking with. And that's with anything. That's with anything. You don't joke with people that you know, people you don't know. That's crazy. That's crazy. Come over here and at least establish a rapport. Let us get to know how you talk, what to expect, and you can joke all day long. But thank you, y'all. Thank you, Stefan. Thank you, Georgia girl. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your night. Listen, it's Wednesday already, and as everybody keeps saying, time is flying, okay? September, I think 22nd is the first day of fall, I think it is. So roughly about another month of summer. All right. And then Labor Day is the unofficial beginning, the unofficial ending of summer. But hey, we're talking about the technical ending. So September 21st, I think, is the last full day of summer. After that, we got fall, and people are already talking about the holidays. So there's no need for us to even say people gonna be talking about the holidays. People are already talking about the holidays. So thank you guys for coming in. I appreciate you. Y'all know what it is. Peace, positivity, as positive as you can be, as peaceful as you can keep it, and prosperity. Because without those, you know what it is. It's chaos, it's negativity, and you fail to prosper to your fullest potential. You want to prosper to your fullest potential. You want your channel to prosper if that's your goal. You just want to prosper in life. You want to teach your kids about prospering. And that's the best way to do that, is to try to avoid as much negativity and chaos as you can. It's going to come. This is the world. We're human. But just try to avoid it as much as you can. Try to find the best ways to deal with it when you can. Good night, George girl. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. And I'm so glad that you're feeling so much better. Like I said, you've been doing those exercises and you've been icing it. I've heard a lot of people say they don't even know when it felt better. You know what I'm saying? Like when you do that routinely enough, you're going to get up one day and you're not going to even think about it. And somebody may say, when was the last time you had some aches in your foot? And you're going to be like, I don't know. You know, you may, because this is the first time you dealing with it, so you may pay real close attention. And God forbid it happen again, but if it does, you'll know what to do, and it'll get better. Hopefully it'll get better quicker, and you probably won't even remember. You'll just be walking back normal. So that's how that plantar fasciitis goes. It's something else. It's something else. It'll have you, when you try to get out of the bed, you'll be hopping around. You'll be hopping around, grabbing on and stuff. It's worse than probably when, I think this lady was telling me something about, like, you know, when you get up and your leg is asleep or your foot is asleep. So she was like, she had to sit there for a minute and kind of bop around. So I'm so glad you're on the mend, and I will see you guys on the next Let's Walk and Talk and Lounge Pride, y'all. Bye, y'all. Hold on. I know next time, hopefully it's not right. It's not fun. Mostly bothers me in the morning. And in the morning, that's something, ain't it? It's just this in the morning, those aches or any type of arthritis or any type of inflammation in the morning and at night. Yeah, so hopefully it won't come back. So hopefully it won't come back. But we're going to say it ain't coming back. But you got enough to know, you know what to do. Bye, y'all.